This week on the show, we have musical superstar Jason Derulo. Jason has sold over 250 million singles worldwide. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for watching. This show is all about giving you insights and showcasing brands that help you to live your best life and give you confidence. As always, I want to kickstart your morning with some motivational advice to help you to feel inspired and energized to start your day. Today, I want to talk about the importance of understanding that every day is a fresh start to get things right. The reality is, just because you had a bad day, bad week, or even a bad month, it doesn't mean that things need to stay that way. In fact, each and every day is a fresh start to get things right, to get your life back on track, and to make better decisions. The great news is it's never too late to make a positive change in your life. Your future is completely in your control, which means you have the power to decide right now that a bad day doesn't equal life remaining that way. You and you alone have the ability to change things around by simply changing your mindset. Make it your mission today to start cultivating the belief that each day we have the opportunity to start anew, and that today is the day that you decide that everything always works out in your favor. As Douglas Pagels quotes, "Each new day is a blank page in the diary of your life. The secret of success is turning that diary into the best story you possibly can." Stay tuned. Coming up after the break, you have new music, Snake with Nora Fatahi. I know you had over 100 million views, surpassed that actually, on that song. Tell us about that song actually.
Nora, I got introduced to Nora by a close friend of mine, Tommy, who lives down the street from me. And he brought the idea up and he introduced me to her artistry, and I watched her videos and I was like, damn, like nobody's doing it like this. Like,
yeah,
this is like a lost art, like where she's like actually dancing and performing in her videos. And it was just bringing back that heyday when people were actually like making real music videos, you know. So I was like, yeah, count me in. That evening I did my verse, and then the rest was history. It's crazy because even like when we were posting on social media, anytime that like we posted something together, there was some sort of like magic. Like I'm talking about like on Instagram, like these videos is getting like 90, 100 million, 80 million views. It's like it's crazy.
Wardrobe provided by Le Chateau. Next up on the show, we have musical superstar Jason Derulo. Jason has sold over 250 million singles worldwide. Jason, thank you so much for being on the show today. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Yourself?
I am doing really well. I was just telling you, I'm such a big fan of your music. I've been listening to your music for years, so it is an honor to have you on the show.
Oh, no, the pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
So before we talk about all your accolades as an amazing artist, let's take it back to the beginning. I know that you started writing music at just 8 years old. So when did that passion for music begin?
For music, I mean, I had a passion from 4 years old. I was completely obsessed from a very, very early age. And I honestly think that was one of the greatest gifts is the certainty of knowing exactly what I wanted and what I wanted to do from 4. So I started writing songs at 8. Because of this girl in my class named Amy, and I was trying to impress her and trying to give her something, and I didn't have any money, obviously. So I was like, let me write a song.
Nice.
And yeah, that started a journey of songwriting.
Very nice, and I love that you discovered that so early. Most people do not know what they want to do at 4 years old, let alone 8 years old. So that's amazing.
And a lot of people's interests change, right? Like you may think you want to do one thing, and then things change pretty quickly. So yeah, I was definitely blessed with that for sure.
And before your music really took off, you were writing songs for people like Cassie, Lil Wayne. So tell us about that in your songwriting as well.
Yeah, it was my entryway. I was gonna do it by any means necessary. However, I had to kick down the doors. However, I had to wiggle my way in. I was gonna do that. The songwriting thing happened because I wanted to get in more sessions with different producers, and producers don't typically want to necessarily work with the starving artist that's trying to make it, right? They're trying
Yeah.
to play songs with people that are already on. So I wasn't getting a lot of sessions with people that wanted to work with me. So the moment I started to switch gears and say, "Hey, I'm a songwriter. Let's do a song for so and so. Let's do a song for this person." All of a sudden, like the doors started to open and people started to let me in sessions, and I got to work with a lot of different producers. And I was going to take them songs and just put it on my demo and try to get a deal like that. But oddly enough, those songs started to get placed, and it started that journey of ghostwriting. But it was not necessarily something that I wanted to do. It just so happened to happen.
I think that's something everyone can take away from, is that you did what you could to get in your foot in the door, right? I think that, and look how far it's taking you. Now you're a superstar, so that's incredible.
Yeah, for sure. It's just that by any means necessary kind of approach, willing to do any and everything to just get closer to the goal. I think a lot of times people get too big for their britches and are like, "Oh, nah, I'm not doing that. Oh, nah, that's beneath me," or I ain't doing that. And I've always had the approach of like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to just be in the room. There's no shame in starting as an intern, finding an internship somewhere and learning and growing and being in the room. There's nothing like being in the room, in any field. It's not just music. Being in the room is the best teacher. You can have somebody tell you should do this, that, and the other. But if you can actually be a fly on the wall and actually be a part of what's happening in the room and have that open ear and that open mind, ain't nothing gonna be better than that.
Absolutely, I feel you on that. I worked for free at a TV station for 4 years before I got paid, and it took me 10 years to manifest this show. So yeah, you gotta hustle, right? It's the grind.
Absolutely. Congrats, you're doing an amazing job too.
Oh, thank you so much. And one of your first #1 songs was What You Say. I want to ask you, what is your favorite song that you've written and sang so far, and why?
It's hard to say. All my songs are my babies, and I guess it depends on what vibe I'm in. If I'm on my independent vibes, I want to celebrate myself, I'll say Riding Solo. If I'm feeling,
ooh, that's a good one.
lovey-dovey, I might do like a little Marry Me or It Girl. Or if I'm trying to go to the club, Talk Dirty or Swalla. If I want to do like a sing-along moment with the family, it's probably like Want to Want Me. A moment with my son is probably Trumpets or Take You Dancing. It really depends on like the what's going on,
the vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and what I like about you is that your music is different. You don't have one genre. Like, you have pop, you have rock. I mean, you've been collaborating with a lot of Indian artists as well recently. So how would you define your musical style?
Yeah, I think I'm just really just open. I've always just been a huge fan of music, and I just love all different kinds of genres. And I think part of that is from being from Miami. Miami is just such a melting pot. There's people from all over the world in Miami. So I got exposed to a lot of different food, a lot of different languages, a lot of different forms of music, because I studied music in school and all forms of music, but also everybody was from all different walks of life, in Miami. So I've always had a world perspective, when it comes to music, and I've never wanted to be boxed into one genre, and I think that's something really unique to me that I like. I generally don't put any barriers on myself at all, and I'm not the person that likes to put on an album and then the whole album sounds the same.
Yeah.
I like to put on an album that takes me on a journey, and like, this song is like this, and this song is like this, and I was just listening to Justin Timberlake's Future Sex Love Sound, and I was like, wow, like this is a solid piece of work, because no record sounds like the last record, So that's basically my vibe, right? Like, I like to reinvent and do things completely different. All those songs that I mentioned earlier, I feel like are worlds apart. And I think that's just from being a fan of all forms of music.
And speaking about music, you have new music, Snake with Nora Fatahi. I know you had over 100 million views, surpassed that actually, on that song. Tell us about that song, actually.
Nora. I got introduced to Nora by a close friend of mine, Tommy, who lives down the street from me, and he brought the idea up, and he introduced me to her artistry, and I watched her videos, and I was like, damn, like nobody's doing it like this. Like,
Yeah.
this is like a lost art, like where she's like actually dancing and performing in her videos, and it was just bringing back that heyday when people were actually like making real music videos, So I was like, yeah, count me in. That evening I did my verse, and then the rest was history. It's crazy because even like when we were posting on social media, anytime that like we posted something together, there was some sort of like magic. Like I'm talking about like on Instagram, like these videos is getting like 90, 100 million, 80 million views. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think it was beautiful because I feel like she introduced me to an entirely new audience. Of course, I dabbled in with working with Indian artists, with Jalebi Baby, with Tesher.
We actually had Tesher on the show as well when that song came out. Yeah. Yeah.
So like this is like like the next step to being introduced to that audience, man. So I'm really, really thankful and happy how that came out.
And you posted on your Instagram a promo day and what it looks like. I think you were up at 4 a.m. going to the gym. You had a promo day all day till like 2 a.m. And I'm glad that you posted that because it shows that it's not all glitz and glam, right? There's a lot of grind behind being successful in any field. So tell us about that and about how your work ethic and your drive has really played a part in your success.
Yeah, I've reached like a new, I'm taking like a new wave. I'm like entering like a new chapter on my socials, and I've done a lot of the fun stuff. I've done a lot of the comedic. I've done a lot of the like jokey, pranks and all of that stuff. And I wanted to enter a more serious side that kind of shows the lifestyle, because I wrote this book called "Sing Your Name Out Loud: 13 Rules to Accomplishing Your Dream," and I feel like that book inspired a lot of people, and I feel like they didn't have a visual representation of what it takes, so I want to give people a deeper dive into what my days are actually like. So I'm slowly like introducing that form of content on my socials, and it's been really refreshing, and people have been really taking to it. But yeah, like my days are typically pretty full on, pretty crazy. So as time progresses, like people will see a little more and a little more. They'll see how my like you said, like a promo day. They'll see how like a tour date is. They'll see like a one-off date. For me flying from this location to this location and having to perform that evening that I flew in. So it's going to be like a real deep dive into what my life is like, which I don't think people have really gotten to see that from any musician.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it'll be really cool, really different to the other stuff that I've done on social. So I'm excited for the new chapter.
Yeah, I love it. I've been watching them, and I even sent one of the videos to my producer, and he's like, my gosh, this day is jam-packed. I mean, you're up at 4 a.m., you're going to bed at 2 a.m. I think you're cooking dinner yourself even at like 1 a.m. So it really shows the hustle, and I think people respect that. People like to see that, to see what goes into being, a musician and a successful one like you. So I think that's, keep it up, keep posting those.
Sure.
And, a lot of people don't know that you are an author. You've written multiple books. So tell us about that passion as well for writing.
Yeah, I really wanted to write the first book. It's a self-help book, and I wanted to write it because there's a lot of dreamers out there that feel like it's too late, or they feel like they don't know how to start. And I've seen so many people come out with material that talks about how to be successful, but it doesn't really give you a step by step like how to,
Yeah.
it kind of like starts in the middle. Yeah, I know I need to work hard. Yeah, I know I need to be focused, but like really though, like how do I begin? Like how do I,
Yeah.
how do I start? So I took a look at my life and I picked apart all the little idiosyncratic things that I felt like made the difference, the biggest differences. And I created a step by step how to book that works in any field. It worked for me in music, it worked for me in social media, it worked for me in business. And I feel like, I know that these things translate to every single field, no matter what it is that you want to do in life. These same principles, these same rules apply.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking about that, I created my platform to inspire, to uplift, and to really showcase that anything is possible with a dream, a vision, and hard work. So I always like to ask my guests, for anyone that's watching, that's, going through a hard time, that's hustling, not seeing results, but or is just feeling unmotivated, what would you say to inspire and uplift them?
I was just talking to a friend the other day, and they were saying how I'm like locked in this zone where people aren't, they're just not watching the videos, and like I feel like I'm doing the right thing, and I feel like my videos are doing well. I mean, I feel like I'm doing my videos well, but it's not translating. I'm just kind of like stuck in the same place. Things are not hot until they are, so
Yeah.
I would say to the person that's struggling, stay the course.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to get discouraged when you're not seeing the results or you're not seeing the growth. But every single day, every single time you post is another opportunity for a new person to see you, for a new person to join the party. And it's not lit until it is,
Yeah.
We've seen this happen over and over and over and over again, where people are posting on socials and then all of a sudden they have like one video that goes crazy, and then now you have this back catalog that people can go and check. Now they can take a deep dive. It really only just takes that one video to like really pop off, and then people will be introduced to you and the rest of the work that you've been doing. So just because it's not being noticed now doesn't mean that it won't get noticed.
That's so true. And you never know when your next breakthrough is just around the corner, right? I know for me, before I had my show, I was kind of at the end of my road where I was like, I've been doing this for like 10 years. I think it's time to give up. And right before that, I had one interview with the station and my show took off. And, if I had given up, which I was very close to, very, very close, I wouldn't have had this. And I've been doing this for 5 years now. I've had some of the biggest celebrities in the world on my show, and it was just that one extra, like just that extra 10% when you want to give up, and you just give it a little bit more. You never know, right?
Oh my God! I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. Honestly, the sooner you give up on yourself, like I mean, to me, like you just never know when that breakthrough is going to happen. You have no clue, and if you give up on yourself, then you'll never know if you would have made it or not, and I think you deserve to do what you love to do every single day. Whatever that is for you, you should have fun when you wake up in the morning and you know that you have to do this, that, and the other. It should be like, oh, this is what I love. I mean, obviously, like I want to do this. And if you pick the thing that you actually love doing, chances of you working hard at that thing are really high. If you pick something that's just for the money, and you want to do it just to be successful, it's still a miserable existence. My favorite part of my job is not the money. It's not even close. It's not even in the same ballpark. My favorite thing to do in the world is to create a song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like my favorite thing to do in the world. And if I had to give it all up to be able to do that every single day, if I had to give up every cent, I would do it in a heartbeat, because it's my passion. It's what I love to do. So it's easy to work at doing that every single day. You know, after I've had a long ass day, I still look forward to like, oh, now I get to make music. Now I get to do, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
still the same passion, still the same love that I have, that I've always had, you know, to make a song.
And you can feel that in your music. Your music's not like other artists. You stand out, and you have passion and soul, and that's what makes the songs great, right? It's not just the song; it's about your passion. So yeah. And Jason, what else are you currently working on? What are your current projects?
So I'm currently working on new music first and foremost. My new project is coming out really soon, but I'm releasing a first single out of the sky. I can't tell you exactly when, but out of the sky. So new music is on the horizon. I've been working on it for the past 6 months. It's my greatest music that I've done in my entire life. I couldn't be more excited. It's gonna stop the world. Second, because it's so polarizing, it's so different. It sounds like nothing else out. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited to share this music. I've had amazing collaborators. I'm really excited to share these people with the world, because some of them have never even had a hit yet, but when the world hears their sound, they'll be the next big thing. So I'm really excited for them too.
Amazing. Well, Jason, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's really an honor. I really am such a big fan of your music. So I'm not usually nervous, but I was nervous for this one. When you're genuinely, when you're a fan, I was like, ah. So I'm really excited to have spoken to you, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. Same to you, and continued success to you.
The Darriel Roy Show is available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts.